As a professional, I am confident that I can say that at one point or another, I and everyone else have felt like there wasn't enough time in the day. And I understand that that feeling alone can be quite daunting, can feel like I am just going to be overrun with tasks and initiatives and things that I need to get done. And that ultimately leads to me not being as productive as I would like to be. But the reality is that there are spaces and places where you can improve your productivity through improving how you work throughout the day. And in this video, I'm actually going to share with you 3 things that could be robbing you of that precious work time. But before we get started, my name is Darius and I'm here to help you master the art of project management. So whether you are a business owner or you are a teammate or a C-suite person or whatever role you play in an organization, this video is for you. But before we get started, please, if you like the video, and if you would like to see more content similar to this one, please subscribe to the channel as I'll be putting out content each and every Friday. But with that said, and without further ado, let's jump right in. During your work time, do you feel as though there's not enough time in the day? Like things are just getting away from you, right? As a project manager, I felt that. I felt that so much. I felt like tasks were getting away from me. I felt like inputting certain things into work management tools and checking emails and going through conversations and setting up meetings and going on one-on-ones and doing project kickoffs and creating project plans, etc., etc. Throughout the entirety of my day, I began to get confused and began to become so unproductive that I started to lose time. And time is a commodity that we do not have the luxury of losing. And it can feel like that, especially when you're being unproductive at work. And those little time sucks really suck when it comes to making sure that you can stay on task and ultimately not fall behind on work. No one wants to have to play catch up by staying late every Friday or every Saturday or throughout the entirety of the week. That sucks. So how do we stay not only productive, but also on task when it comes to what we have to do in our work hours? One area that I can see that I had to improve, that I know will help you improve as well, is the distractions. How many times do you get an email ping that you just have to go look at, or a Teams chat that you just have to go look at, or someone's come knocking at your door if you're working remote, or a team member walks over to your desk to have an impromptu conversation that just derails you? It is actually shown that it takes about 21 to 23 minutes to actually gain back focus after someone interrupts you out of that focus. Did you know that that is a long time to get back into the groove of whatever it is that you were doing? So if you're having to be distracted or someone interrupts you during hard brain activity and you have to spend that time to put yourself in that space, then ultimately speaking, distractions are going to hold you back in all fashions of productivity. Now, I say that with hope. Why? Because there is a light at the end of the tunnel. If you know that there's distractions, then one thing that you can actually do to eliminate distractions is to start removing them, right? So for example, something that I do often is that I go through my emails first thing in the morning, and the first thing in the morning, what I'm doing with my emails is I'm skimming through them, looking to see and filing them away to ensure that I know, okay, what are some things that are pressing for the day? What are some things that I know I need to address? What are some things that I can address towards the later half of the day? And then what are some client emails that I need to tackle right now? I do that in that order because most of the times you have 1 to 2 client emails that need to be addressed today or right now, and the rest of the emails you can kind of start filing them as what to do for the day. And I then incorporate them into my daily tasks. This way, when I am actually working and focusing on brain activity work, I can actually now say, you know what, I'm actually going to focus on this task and this email and knock this out and send that email. And then by the end of the day, And also midday, I do another little check to make sure that I didn't miss anything that was important, especially if I'm waiting on it. But at the end of the day, I'll clear out my inbox and start it all over again the following day. And that has dramatically affected my distraction levels because I don't have to be as inclined for a ping from an email. And if I am waiting for an email, then that's different, and I'll wait on it while I'm working on stuff. But ultimately, I try to remove the distractions of constantly feeling like I have to look at my emails. The next thing is that putting time on your calendar to knock out hard brain work activity. I say that to say because when people see an open slot on your calendar, they might actually drop a meeting in there sometimes. And if you have things that you need to work on and you need to focus on, sometimes the best thing to do is to simply block out that time, close your door, put up a sign that says, hey, do not disturb, currently focused, whatever that conversation is, but put it out there that you are currently focusing on something that requires your full attention. And that normally helps alleviate the random conversations. It might alleviate people calling you. It also might alleviate these random Slack and team messages. Removing all distractions as best as possible can help you continue to focus on being productive for the day, and therefore your time is maximized through the lack of distractions. The next thing that you can actually do between managing emails and removing distractions is doing things in a repetitive way. So find ways to create a process that you can use a template, you can use some form of pre-existing information to create and complete certain tasks. And if you have those processes down pat, you constantly repeat them, you constantly do them, it'll ensure that you're able to get work done just a little bit quicker than what you previously did before. I'll give you an example. If I'm having to write up an estimate and I need to find these informations that need to go in the estimate, I normally follow the same kind of process or flow through how I put the estimate together. And I know that sounds a little bit obsessive, but I've actually found that that has helped me to constantly be able to turn out estimates in a quicker space than having to figure out what I need to do, how I need to do it. I have a process, even though it's in my mind or it's something that I just do on a day-to-day basis. And now it's like, all right, I need to get this, I need to get this, I need to get this, I need to get this. And I'm able to group things a little bit better on that task based on where I am. So if I need something from a specific tool that I need to pull that information from, I'll knock all of those things out versus being scattered on the estimate. And those are just some processes that, of course, can be things that you don't document. But when it comes to other processes, you should have some form of documentation, especially those that involve other teammates. So you should be able to say, hey, I have this thing that I'm working on, and it requires to do these 4, 5 to 6 steps. And now I'm going to repeat the process, and now I'm going to repeat the process and document it. There is no shame in documenting all of your work processes on a document, especially if they're not as repetitive, meaning that you may do a process or issue or something right now, but it may need to be done another month from now. Instead of having to figure out, oh, how did I do this before? What do I need to do? You can actually go back to your list and say, I did this last month and this is what I did. I can now replicate it here and do it today and knock out this task quicker. So processes are important, especially informal processes and formal processes. But with that said, process. Do everything you can to document the process. The final tip that I have for you today is something that's going to sound beyond crazy, but it has helped me tremendously. And that is mapping out your time and sticking to that time map. So in the beginning of the day, I time box all of the tasks that I want to accomplish for the day, especially when I know how long it takes me normally. And here's the thing, because I know how long it takes me to do the task, I can map out that time and ensure it takes me that time to do the task. And oftentimes not when I'm focused on mapping out time and making sure I stay within that time, it allows me to actually stay in that time and maximize the hours of my day. I'll give you an example. If it takes me a couple of days or 4 or 5 hours to do a project plan for a website, then I'm going to sit down and spend that time and say, hey, this is the time that it takes me to do this. What do I need to do to focus and stay undistracted? How do I then ensure that all my emails are answered and that I can give dedicated time to this thing? And that ultimately is 4 hours. All right, I map out 4 hours on my calendar, I block it off, I remove distractions, and then I actually sit down with my watch or with a clock somewhere and say, I started at 9 o'clock, I need to get to whatever 4 hours is from 9 o'clock. We're not going to do math today. But I say that because having that map of time honestly helps you in saying, I'm going to stick to this guideline. I'm going to stick to this time frame that I decided to do this in. And sometimes, of course, you may miss it. Sometimes you may have to retweak it. But at least being able to focus on, I'm going to take 30 minutes to go through my emails, and then I'm going to take 45 minutes to knock out this task. Or I'm going to take an hour to review my work management tool and make sure I clean it up and make sure that everything is scheduled and on time. That is something that has dramatically helped me stay productive when it comes to my work initiatives. It sounds crazy, but literally I watch the clock. Look, the truth is that professionals truly understand how to maximize their time and be as productive as possible. And the best way to do that, honestly, is through the tips that I mentioned above. And you can actually start implementing these today in your work experience because they're not that hard. And everyone in any role, I am sure, can implement these in one space or another. So get out there, reclaim your time, reclaim your focus, and become as productive as you can possibly be. I hope this video was helpful, and I literally had a blast with talking to you about how to be productive, because I truly think about these things as I'm working through my day. How do I become as productive as I possibly can? So I'm truly hoping that this video helps you improve your speed at work. If you would like to discuss this further, then always feel free to reach out to me in the comment section. I'm happy to have conversations there. If you have other productivity tips, please also drop them in the comment section so that this way anyone else who's watching this video can also benefit from those experiences and tips that you provide. And then finally, if you like the video, please like the video. It costs you little to nothing, and it really helps boost my channel to other professionals similar to you that can benefit from this information. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more videos similar to this, because like I said, I post every Friday. But with that said, and without further ado, thank you so much for sticking it out to the end. I appreciate each and every one of you that watch my videos, and I will truly catch you on the next one. Thank you and have a fantastic day.